There's a lot of business turnaround artists out there, but I'm the only one putting up his own money.
Coming up on the Suze Orman Show, what you may be doing to sabotage your financial future. Also,
if there's really good deals that I just absolutely can't pass up, instead of buying maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 things, I end up with like 4 bags of things.
These are not needs, these are wants. And you ask me, can I afford it?
I want to buy 2-carat diamond earrings for $11,254.
Why isn't your husband involved in this? Hi, everybody. I'm Suze Orman, and you are watching the Suze Orman Show. Tonight, I want to talk to you about how you feel about money. If you find yourself in a situation and you've ever heard yourself say these following words, I hate money, I'm here to tell you, you are setting yourself up to be taken advantage of. Let me tell you a very quick story here. Just the other day, I'm sitting with a friend, and I'm just simply saying to her, how are you doing with your money? She said, Suze, I hate money. You know I hate money. It was at that point that I knew I needed to take a look at what is she doing with her money. So I said, can you just please take out your statements? I'm right here with you. Can you just take out your statements and let me see what you're doing with money? She goes, no, Suze, I'm fine. I've been seeing this financial advisor. He's taking great care of me. I said, take out your statements and show me now. She takes out her statements. I start looking at them one after another. And I now am getting sick to my stomach because what I am seeing in front of me is a woman who's really capable, is working really hard for her money so she can be okay. A single woman, she's now older. He was taking advantage of her, in my opinion. As I looked at these statements, he had her 100% almost in loaded mutual funds. Now, do all of you know what a loaded mutual fund is? A loaded mutual fund is when you buy a mutual fund from a financial advisor and there is a letter A or B in the name of the fund. A means you pay the load up front. B means you just simply pay it on the end. Every single fund had about a 5.5% load. But this particular advisor not only had her in loaded mutual funds, he was charging her a 1% advisory fee per year on top of it. And every 6 to 9 months, he sold those mutual funds to do what? Buy another mutual fund, which really is against the law. It's one thing when you buy and sell stock, but you should not be buying and selling mutual funds. If you buy a mutual fund, you should keep it for 3 years, 5 years, a long time, unless something has gone wrong with the fund. But every one of her mutual funds were being sold, and they were purchasing new funds. Over the few years that she has been with this person, she has spent about $150,000 in commissions alone. Really, people? Really? All because she said, I hate money. I don't like looking at it. I don't mind working for it, but I just don't want to deal with it. So I am asking every single one of you to understand, once again, this is your money. What happens to it affects the quality of your life. Not my life, not your financial advisor's life, but your life. And you have got to change I hate money to I love money. I love what it can do for me and my family to take care of me, not for the things that it can buy you, but the fact that that money is you. You earned it. You decide how to invest it. You decide how to spend it. So it's simply a physical manifestation of you. So can you just change the terminology from I hate to I love and pay attention to your statements? Beth in North Carolina, ask me your question.
Hi, Suze. I am struggling with the decision to change to a part-time job at work. I have a 2-year-old child, and I've continued to work full-time since he's been born, but I really regret not spending more time at home while he was a baby. Now I'm expecting our second child this summer, and I am seriously considering decreasing my hours at work again. My concerns are that my husband prefers I continue to work full-time for more financial security, but I would really prefer to be home more. How can we reach a middle ground?
Yeah, you know, what's interesting, Beth, is that everything that you said was I. Did you notice how you asked your question? I'm having a child, I had a child, I'm doing this, and you never said we.
Okay.
You never, did you notice that you did that?
Yeah, you're right, I did.
Yeah. Why did you do that?
I guess because I'm thinking about my needs.
All right, so nothing wrong with that, but you need to understand it really is a we. And you need to have a grasp on, can you afford to stay home really without doing what? Without going into debt, without putting your whole family, including your husband, into some financial jeopardy. So many times women call into the Suze Orman Show after the fact. After they stayed at home, they wanted to be with their child, but in the end, they had $30,000 of credit card debt. They had used up their home equity line of credit. They hadn't been contributing to their retirement account, and it put so much stress on the relationship. So if you can afford, if you sit down with your husband, you go over the bills that you need to pay, you need to save for retirement. Those things are needs. If you can afford to stay home, then okay. But if you can't afford it, then you really have to say, you know what? That's what comes with this territory. I have to be responsible both to my husband, both to the finances and to my children and my own needs. So would I hope that you could stay home? I do, but if you can't afford it, you just can't. We are going to South Carolina, and we have Billy on the air. Girlfriend, what can I do for you?
Hey, Susie, how are you?
Fabulous, thank you.
Good. I'm a hairdresser, and I own my own salon. And over the years, I have bought 4 universal policies from clients for my 2 kids, ages 9 and 23.
Yeah.
The insurance company says that these are guaranteed a 4% interest rate. And I also have $6,300 in CDs for my youngest child.
So let's go back to the universal. But first, just ask me your question so I know I can answer what you wanted, and then I'm going to tell you what you need to know.
Okay. My insurance lady tells me to dump all the cash values and the CDs into one universal policy for each of them.
Yes.
All
right.
And my son is an avid believer in Suze Orman, and he thinks I should put all of these monies in a Roth IRA.
All right. Let me ask you this. How long have you been doing and putting money into these universal policies?
Since the 23-year-old was about 3 months old.
All right. So how much have you put in per month?
I pay his annually, and I think it was $247 for one policy.
So, Billy, you put $250 in a year for 20 years, and you're telling me you have a cash value of $4,100, which is $900 less than you actually put in. Where is that 4%?
I don't know.
You don't know. Well, let me tell you where it is. If you had put $250 a year into a certificate of deposit, into some at the same 4%. Now, you probably over 20 years could have gotten a whole lot more than an average of 4%. But let's just say you really did 4%. Do you know that $7,750 is what you would have today? That is almost twice the amount of money that they have in this policy for you. What is the death benefit? How much?
There's one that's $25,000, and then there's one that's $35,000.
Yeah. So here's the thing: for a term policy, if you even needed it on your child, for $30,000 might cost you $2 a month, if that. So your son is absolutely right. If I were you, I would stop listening to the people coming into my salon selling me something. I would cash out of every single one of these policies, assuming that your child is totally healthy. I would take the money and I would open up a Roth IRA and I would invest it in either exchange-traded funds or no-load mutual funds, but I would not ever do a universal policy. You have been throwing your money out the window. All right, so obviously you just heard me tell Billy she was throwing her money out the window. Listen to me, everybody, and listen to me closely. There is no reason why I need to be the one to tell you an investment isn't a good investment. It doesn't take a whole lot of skills to be able to go, oh, I'm putting in X dollars per month or X dollars per year, and I've been doing it for this many months or this many years, and this is how much I have in there. It says so on my paper, but my insurance agent told me I was going to make 4% on my money. In Billy's example, she put in $5,000. She knew she put in $5,000, but she only had $4,100 after 20 years. So it's a logical thing to think, well, where is the 4% that you said I was going to earn since I have less in there than what I put in? So the point of the matter is this. You don't have to take my word for anything. You just need to look at your sheets of paper that you are sent, your annual reports, and look at what the truth is. And stop listening to insurance agents that are telling you it guarantees you this, it guarantees you that, when your annual report is showing you something different. Got it?
Instead of buying maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 things, I end up with like 4 bags of things.
Why do you care about all these things that she doesn't even know she has? And later, when wanting something, ask me, can I afford it?
I want to buy a Mercedes SLK 350 for $54,400.
So you want to know if I think you can afford this or not, right?
Yes, I know our liquid's a little low. We pay
Yeah, it's really low.
Congratulations, Susie, on winning your 8th Gracie Award. It's a record.
8 of these little puppies. Can you believe it? Come on, girlfriend, let's go home together.
Watch the award-winning Suze Orman Show every Saturday night on CNBC.
We're back, everybody, with a case of stopping the shopping. My one-on-one tonight is Sarah. She's coming to us from Cleveland, Ohio. Sarah is 34 and lives with her boyfriend, Kirk, and their 1-year-old daughter, Ava. Sarah works in medical recruiting sales and says over the past 8 years, she's made $50,000 to $70,000 a year. What does she have to show for it? Very little in savings, but plenty in her closets and in storage, including so many outfits for her daughter that Ava's outgrowing them before she gets a chance to wear them. So Sarah has reached out to me to help her curb her spending, as she put it. So Sarah, first of all, welcome to the Suze Orman Show.
Thank you very much.
And when did this all happen to you? Like, were you born just buying? Or is this a behavior that you learned somehow?
I think it may be a behavior that I learned because I grew up in a household of save, save, save. And I'm the only one out of my entire family that spends. So I believe it started when I started working at the mall and managing retail when I was about 17.
Now, what do you shop for? What do you look for? What is the feeling that you get inside that makes you go out and waste all this money?
Well, for instance, you know, if she needs, I don't know, she's in 12 to 18 month clothes now. So if I'm looking for maybe 18 to 24 month clothes, you know, I'll know that some stores will have sales. So I will go ahead and go into those stores, find the stuff that I need. However, if there's really good deals that I just absolutely can't pass up, instead of buying maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 things, I end up with like 4 bags of things, you know, to where she's like 2, 3, 4 years old.
Got it. All right. So, first of all, I noticed that you used the word need.
Yes.
Need. These are not needs. These are wants.
Yes.
Your daughter doesn't need anything at 1 year of age except your love and to make if something happens to you, she is taken care of. So more
That's
than
correct.
focusing on what you spend your money on, I want to talk to you about what you don't spend your money on. It absolutely amazes me that we sit here, you have a 1 year old.
Yes.
Can you tell me what would happen to Ava, financially speaking, if you and her papa were in a car accident, you're no longer alive? What happens to Ava, financially speaking?
It's not a good situation.
Because why? You don't have any life insurance on yourself. We have an entire closet of clothes for Ava.
Yep.
But you could, what it would cost you at your age to get $1 million life insurance policy might be $100 a month.
Yep.
Same thing for your boyfriend. Yet you haven't done that. Why haven't you done that? Why? I want you to think about this question carefully. Why do you care about all these things that she doesn't even know she has? She doesn't need them. She doesn't even probably want them. And yet, you intellectually know that you haven't protected her on any level. What is that about?
Well, he has life insurance, and I actually have been looking into life insurance, so I know that's very important. However, I have not purchased it yet. I was trying to figure out what was the best insurance policy at this particular time.
And how much life insurance does he have?
How much does he have? $500,000.
$500,000. And who is the beneficiary?
You know, I don't know if he's changed that to Ava or not. I think it might be somebody else.
Oh, so now he has $500,000. He dies tomorrow. The beneficiary is somebody else who doesn't care about you or your daughter. And now you both are in trouble. How much money does he make per year?
Well, he just started a company, so
he's not really making money, is he?
It's kind of a gamble because he's had to purchase a lot of equipment within the past 2 years, you know, to start the company.
Do you understand what you're saying here?
Yes.
You are the breadwinner of this family.
Yes.
But yet you don't have insurance.
Yes.
It doesn't take any intelligence whatsoever.
Yes,
You've been watching the Suze Orman Show, I'm sure, for a while now.
Yes.
You know I love term insurance. You know you should have a 20-year level term insurance policy. Yet you are making excuses to feed your bad habits, and the cost is the security of your daughter. Not only do you not have an insurance policy, you don't have a will, you don't have a trust, you don't have anything in place to protect your daughter.
Yep.
Nothing, Sarah. I want you to seriously think about that. So here is the solution, I think, to your shopping problem. And if this doesn't work, honestly, then I have to tell you, I think you need seriously some professional help, because it does not make sense that you care more about things than you do people. You care more about things than you do money. And that is exactly opposite what Suze Orman says at the end of every one of her shows. People first, then money, then things. You don't even care about yourself. And that concerns me. So here's what I would like you to do.
Okay.
All right. Obviously, you're making enough money to pay off your credit cards and things if you just stopped shopping.
Right.
So how do we get you to stop shopping? I want you to take a picture of Ava.
Okay.
And I want you to put it on every single credit card that you have. Now, I have one that I'm holding up here that I've done for you. I want you to look at it and stare at it. And I want you to ask yourself the question, is this helping my daughter or is this hurting my daughter? Because obviously you can't do it for yourself. Because for some reason, in my opinion anyway, you don't matter to yourself. That's a whole show on trying to figure that out. But I know one thing about mothers and fathers. They really, really care about their children. So from now on, this is a very simple fix.
Okay.
What are you going to ask yourself every time before you make a purchase?
Is it going to benefit my daughter?
Is it going to benefit or hurt her? Is it going to help her or is it going to hurt her? And there is no way that the answer could be anything other than hurt her if you're spending money on clothes, if you're spending money on things like toys, if you're doing anything other than paying off your credit card debt, saving money for your future, funding your retirement account, making sure she is okay. Can you do that?
Yes, absolutely. That's why I'm here.
Give it a try and let us know how it goes.
Okay, well, I definitely will.
Up next, you can't afford to miss. Can I afford it?
I bought them actually a few years ago, but I couldn't afford them and had some buyer's remorse and took them back.
Why do you think you're not going to have buyer's remorse this time? Also,
I want to spend $6,000 to study Shakespeare in London.
To study Shakespeare or to not study Shakespeare? That is the question. What do you want to buy?
10-day trip to the Galapagos Islands.
Mercedes SLK 350, study Shakespeare in London.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Can I Afford It segment. This is where you call in, you tell me what it is that you want to buy, and I tell you if you can afford it or not. Are you ready? Let's go. Sue, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I want to spend $14,000 to take a 10-day trip to the Galapagos Islands. I'm turning 50, and I want to skip off somewhere exotic and to celebrate. And at the same time, I want to take my son with me and show him the world.
And you want to go see those blue-footed boobies or whatever
You
they're
got
called.
it.
Yeah, they're kind of cute. Bam, 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 bam. Show me the money.
Okay, well, my income is $4,707 a month. That includes my take-home pay and the rental off of a rental property. My expenses are $3,746 a month. My only debt is a mortgage at $205,000, 30-year fixed. I also own my rental outright, and my savings is $40,000 liquid. My investments are $578,000 plus the rental property of about $150,000, and then my retirement of $446,000.
So you have a rental property you own outright. You have only, though, $40,000 liquid. How are you going to pay for this?
Well, I already have $2,400 baked into my expenses from travel that I did last year that I won't be doing this year that I'm saving. And then the difference between my expenses and my income is about $1,000 a month. And so I'm taking the trip in about a little less than a year. So I'll be able to save $10,000 there.
All right, but still, you are 49 years of age. You just told me that you are going to turn 50. And when I look at your finances, at everything that you have going at the age of 50, do I think you're going to have enough money to be able to retire in possibly just 8, or 10 years from now or 15 years from now? Do I? You have been approved, because I do, girlfriend. Happy 50th birthday, and you go have a great time. All right, Sally, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I want to buy a Mercedes SLK 350 for $54,400.
Have you driven one of those SLKs?
I have.
And you like them?
I do. A little stiff, but I like them.
All right. So why do you want this car?
My car is 10 years old. Last year it broke down and had to be towed. It was dark. I was 100 miles from home. I was scared. And I want modern conveniences,
I get a new car. I get why especially women like brand new cars. But a Mercedes that only seats 2 people, that you can't put anything in the trunk, that's really little. Show me the money.
So our income is $10,450 combined, and that includes $3,850 a month in 4 rentals.
Yeah.
Our expenses are $6,503 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Our debt is $231,000 on a 15-year fixed mortgage on our primary home, and we have $123,000 30-year fixed mortgage on one of the rentals.
Yeah.
We own the other 3 rentals. For savings, we have $32,000 liquid and $648,000 in 401ks, and we both have vested pensions.
All right, and so you want to know if I think you can afford this or not, right?
Yes, I know our liquid's a little low. We pay tax
it's
for
really low. Denied. Because when you are going to buy a car for $54,000, I don't even need to ask you how are you going to pay for this. I am against financing a car, because what I'm afraid that you're doing is that even though you own your rentals outright, there are expenses to own rentals. The roof can go, the air conditioning can go, the heating can go, the plumbing can go. All kinds of things can happen. A tenant can stay in there and not pay you, but you still have property taxes, you have insurance. You are accumulating more and more expenses to live your life, but I don't have the emergency fund. I should have at least $56,000 or so in an emergency fund. So girlfriend, don't do it. Go and buy yourself something cheaper that you can write a check for. Do you understand me? All right, Anne-Marie, what do you want to buy?
Hey, Susie. I want to spend $6,000 to study Shakespeare in London. I just earned my PhD.
Yes.
And I want to celebrate by spending an additional 2 months in London in the summer of 2014 studying Shakespeare. And I'll already be over there teaching, so I want to change my ticket and stay an extra 2 months. And the $6,000 includes all my anticipated expenses and classes.
I used to love Shakespeare. Not that I still don't, but I used to love these things. You know, really, Shakespeare is an extraordinary study of amazing things. So I hope I get to approve you here. So show me the money.
Well, my take home is $34.75 a month.
Yep.
My expenses are $25.13.
Yep.
My only debt is my mortgage, which is $133,000, 30-year fixed.
Yep.
In savings, I have $4,800 in liquid.
Yep.
$25,000 in investments, and $262,000 in retirement.
Denied. How would Shakespeare say it? How now, dead for a ducat dead, or something like that? Isn't that one of his lines? Anyway, that's besides the point. Here is the reason. You have how much in savings? How much in retirement? And you are how much in an emergency fund? You don't have enough money here. You need at least $20,000 in an emergency fund. You're not even close to that. So to study Shakespeare or to not study Shakespeare, that is the question. You're not going to be standing 2 more months to study it. You can do that at home. Jonathan, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I want to buy a summer vacation at Disney World. It's a 6-night stay for my daughter and I. It's $2,145.
For 6 nights to go to Disney World, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a full-time working dad, and she loves the Disney princesses.
Oh, sweet. Show me the money.
All right. My income is $3,107, and that includes my pay for the Air Force Reserves.
Yep.
My expenses are $2,109, and that includes $695 for rent.
Yep.
I have no debt, and my savings is $32,000 liquid, $3,000 in investments, and $9,000 in retirement.
Approved. And again, I don't even ask you how you're going to spend for it, because you're going to take it from, obviously, your savings. You are 26 years of age. You are doing just fine. And if you want to take your daughter so she could fantasize about all those princesses, sweetheart, do it with my blessings. Becky, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I want to buy 2-carat diamond earrings for $11,254. 1 carat each year. I bought them actually a few years ago, but I couldn't afford them and had some buyer's remorse and took them back.
And did you get a full refund?
Yes.
You did. And,
I did.
And so you really want $11,000 in your ears that you could drop, you can lose, that they're not under insurance, so you're going to have to insure them even more, so they're going to cost you something every single year to keep them. All right.
Yes, definitely.
How long have you been thinking about these?
Probably since my early 20s.
All right, and I just have to ask this question. Why do you think you're not going to have buyer's remorse this time?
Well, I think because I've been planning for it this time.
So this time you think you can afford them. Show me the money.
So I have $7,700 a month as my net income. That includes $700 in a rental.
Great.
my expenses are $3,571 a month.
Yeah.
My debt is a condo that I rent that's about $70,000 in the mortgage with a 5-year fixed. And I bought that before I married my husband, and we do own our primary home outright.
That's fabulous. That you have going for you. Keep going.
Okay, so in my savings, I have $13,000 liquid. These are my savings, though, not my husband's.
Yes.
So $13,000 liquid, $19,000 in investments, and $68,000 in retirement.
Yeah, and just so I know, first, how are you going to pay for it?
I'm going to use my liquid.
All right, so that brings you down to $2,000. And why isn't your husband involved in this?
I would say just because it's something I've always wanted to do on my own.
And he doesn't really want you to do it, does he?
Oh, no, he totally supports it.
He totally supports it, but he wants you to do this with your money, or you want to do it with your money, correct?
I want to do it with my own money.
I got it.
It's kind of a reward for myself financially, how much. I mean, 7 years ago I had nothing, and now I'm where I'm at today.
You are, and so that's why I am denying you, because I don't want you to be at nothing again. How can you take your emergency fund down to $2,000? You should have at least a $28,000 emergency fund. You say you want to do this on your own with expenses and everything that you showed. Really, girlfriend, trust me, you are not going to love them as much as you think. Want to be part of the Can I Afford It segment? I want you to. All you have to do is go to my website, SuzeOrman.com, and you'll find the information that you need to know there to come and play with me right here. And guess what? If you're chosen to be on the Suze Orman Show, that was a horrible throw, Kyle. That's besides the point. But anyway, you can get a T-shirt, one that says approved if I approve you, one that says denied if I deny you, and either way, they're yours. Next, I tackle trending topics in Ask Suze. I know you make too much money because you said you did, but you can still invest in a Roth if you do it this way.
Before you buy it, first ask Suze, can I afford it?
Approved. Denied.
The Suze Orman Show, Saturday at 9 Eastern on CNBC Prime.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are at the control room at CNBC headquarters. So many ways for you to reach me here at the Suze Orman Show. As always, I want you to take a look at your screen. Write these down so you know how to get in touch with us here. You can send in an email. You can join me on Facebook, or if you send in a tweet and put hashtag AskSuze, it comes to us here. If we choose it, I will read it on the air. Let's see what's trending right now. At Teo Girl in Vegas. All right. My employer doesn't offer retirement savings plan. I make too much money for a Roth. What's the best way to invest on my own? Well, my girlfriend, here's what you need to understand. I know you make too much money because you said you did, but you can still invest in a Roth if you do it this way. So for those of you who don't know, again, take a look at your screen and you will see the income limits to be able to qualify for a Roth. Now, if you're making more money than that, here's what you do. Just simply open up a traditional IRA. No income limits for that. Make it non-deductible so you're not going to get a tax write-off for it. Then you can convert it to a Roth IRA because there are no income limitations anymore to convert from a traditional IRA, an IRA rollover, a SEP IRA into a Roth. If you did it that way, now your money's in a Roth no matter how much money you are making. Got it? Let's see what else is trending. At Stunt Leader, I'm terrified of going to college because of student loans, and I contemplate not going to college because of loans. What do I do? Well, this one's really easy. Don't go to college. I'm serious about that. You didn't say you didn't want to go to college because you don't know what to do and student loans until you aren't afraid to do something. I always say it's better to do nothing than to do something that you'll say, why did I do that? Once you know what you want to be, if you want to be something and you know you need a college education to do so, then go ahead and do it. But if you don't, if you're confused, don't. Now, you don't have to go to an expensive college. I will forever believe that the college doesn't make you, you make the college. You make your career. You can go to a community college. You can go to a school where it's not very expensive to go at all. You can take a course here, try this, try that, but don't worry about it. If you're afraid, just take it easy until you're no longer afraid. Got that? Let's go to the webcam. Pennsylvania. Andrea, ask me your question.
Hi, Susie. Thanks so much for taking my question.
Anytime.
So we have no consumer debt. We have no mortgage, no car loans, no credit card debt. I'm wondering if it's okay to use a HELOC as part of our emergency fund. The thought of keeping $40,000 to $50,000 in an account that gets just 0.1% interest makes me nauseous. What do you think?
Well, here's the thing. If you didn't keep it there, what would you do with it?
That's a question I'd ask you. Are there other higher interest yielding accounts that we could consider?
Not where it is safe and sound. Maybe you could look around and get 1%, 1.5%. But here's the problem. You take this money, you invest it, and now you have your HELOC, your home equity line of credit, as your backup. And we're a year, 2, 3 years down the road. Number one, let's just say something happens to the stock market. You've invested this money. Now the $50,000 is worth $25,000. At the same time, something happens and you need backup. So now you have to take out a home equity line of credit. At the same time, interest rates are really high. So now you're paying 5, 6, 7, 8% possibly for a home equity line of credit, all because you didn't want to keep your money safe and sound. I don't think so. What you could do, however, is you could take some of this and put it into what? A Roth IRA. And fund your Roth IRA for you and your spouse or partner, whoever you're with, and possibly do it that way. But you still have to keep that money in a liquid account, paying you a low interest just in case you need it. Sorry about that, girlfriend, but it's better to be safe than sorry. All right, let's go back to the studio, and here's what's coming up next. Susan asked me, Susie,
How am I doing? I'm 58 and single and have that fear of being a bag lady.
Susan, are you sitting down?
I am.
All right, good. Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show.
Hi, Susie. I'm 58 and single and have that fear of being a bag lady. I got a late start saving for retirement, and it's made me a conservative investor. My goal is to retire someday, any day, after I'm 67. I have a bucket list that includes visiting as many national parks as possible and spending more time volunteering at the local Humane Society and zoo. Susie, how am I doing?
Good evening, my dear Susan. Welcome to the Suze Orman Show.
Hi, Susie. I'm so happy to talk with you, and good evening.
Thank you. I hope you feel that way after I give you a grade and I tell you how you're really doing. Susan, before we show everybody the numbers, if you were going to give yourself a grade, as if this is the situation, you don't change one thing that you're doing right now, you keep doing exactly what you're doing to retire in 9 years from now, what grade would you give yourself?
I would give myself a D because I got such a late start and I'm a conservative investor.
Yeah, so you would give yourself a grade as high as a D in your mind on some level. Let's take a look at your numbers and then I'll tell you my grade. All right, Susan, you are 58 years of age. You are single. You have $365,000 approximately in retirement, $58,000 in emergency, investments about $180,000. Your current home value is $320,000. You have about $107,000 that you still owe on that home. So here you are at 58 with a net worth of only $817,000.
I know.
I know. Sad, huh?
Yes.
Let's also very quickly look at your monthly income versus your expenses. All right. Monthly income is $2,631 a month after taxes. Monthly expenses are $2,342, which gives you excess of about $289 per month. All right, everybody, I want you to listen to me closely now. And Susan, are you sitting down?
I am.
All right, good. Because if I was going to give you a grade, my dear, I would be giving you an A.
I'm so glad I'm sitting down. I would have fallen on the floor.
An A. And the reason why I said you only have a net worth of $800,000 is this. You don't need a lot of money to live the lifestyle that you live. So you only need millions of dollars when you live a lifestyle as if you have millions of dollars. But you, girlfriend, have been responsible, have been respectful. So let me just do the numbers for you. Currently, you have expenses that we showed everybody of $2,300 a month, but that includes about $800 a month for your mortgage payment. Okay, so really, after your mortgage would be paid off, you're looking at about $1,400 a month. But just to humor me, I'm giving you a goal of $3,000 per month. Now, if we look at everything at the age of 67, with your pension, with everything that you have going, the amount of money that you have in your retirement accounts and your savings, do you know that you are going to have, including Social Security, $6,500 a month after taxes?
No, I didn't realize that. Wow, I should be fine then.
No, you are going to be more than fine, but listen to me. That includes the fact that you're still paying your mortgage at the age of 67 because you have about 14 years left on your mortgage and you want to retire in 9 years. So you have a will, you have a trust, you have long-term care insurance, you've got everything going for yourself exactly like you should. Here is your way to an A+. Currently, you have about $170,000 in CDs, making what? Maybe 1%, 2% to you taxable. You also have at least $60,000 in an emergency fund. You only owe $107,000 on this mortgage. Just take the money from the CDs when they've matured and pay off the mortgage. And here's the last way to an A+. Can you just spend a little money on yourself and take a vacation? Girlfriend. Coming up next, one more thing I want you to know. We have a lot of men watching us, but for some reason, you just don't call in. What's that about, men? Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. It's almost a wrap here on the Suze Orman Show, but before we go, there's still one more thing that I want you to know. Tomorrow morning, all throughout the United States, fathers are going to be waking up and getting hugs and calls and kisses from their children, and their children are going to be saying, I love you, Daddy. I love you so much. I personally am not lucky enough. My daddy died a long time ago, over 30 years ago. But every time I do remember him on Father's Day, and I remember all the men that played a really important part in my life. You know, over all the years we've been doing the Suze Orman Show, you mainly have noticed probably that women call in more than men. Now, we have a lot of men watching us, but for some reason, you just don't call in. What's that about, men? So I am inviting you all in, because I'll always be happy to hear from you. I will always honor you when you call. Now you know. But for now, I want to make sure that you know, every daddy out there, from all of us here on the Suze Orman Show, we wish you a very, very happy Father's Day. And remember, there's only one thing that matters when it comes to your money, and it is this: people first, then money, then things. Now you stay safe. Bye-bye.